Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our first TechFest conference event. My name is Jan Ellis. I'm the Chief Executive of the Career Development Institute, and I'll be introducing the conference and chairing the first keynote session today. We're delighted that as people come into the room, so many have chosen to join us over the next couple of days. When I looked this morning, I think 233 delegates have signed up to the platform, which is really excellent. I think this is possibly the first event of its type for the career development sector. So a bit of an experiment, but we're really going to put everything into the day so that you get maximum information and networking opportunity from the whole event. By way of a bit of background, the CDI started its digital journey almost 4 years ago when we invited ICEGs at the University of Derby to co-author a digital strategy for us. And members of the CDI will know that last April we appointed Michael Lablestier as our first project associate for digital learning. And we've been ramping up all of our digital activity ever since and our training capability. The COVID pandemic brought our digital ambitions into even sharper focus, as they did for everybody. And we launched our first free digital bites training and really started to look at the whole role of what the CDI should be doing to support our members, to enhance their digital skills and knowledge. It's with thanks to Michael, really, that we're here for the next 2 days, because TechFest was his idea and he's put an awful lot of work into getting our speakers and panels sorted for today. Let me talk a little bit about the conference platform, because I know it will be new to lots of people. The key themes and content for the 2 days are truly wide-ranging. We've shoehorned in just about everything we could think of that's relevant and digital to career development practitioners. So we're going to be looking at innovation, both in policy and in hardware and software issues, digital skills, social media, ethics, and of course, professional practice. It wouldn't be a CDI event without a focus on professional practice. If you've not been and done an online conference before, take a deep breath. It is a bit different from the old face-to-face way of working, but I promise it's almost as good. And there are some great benefits. If it was a conference focused on a university somewhere in the UK, I'd probably have had to get up at 5 o'clock this morning. Much easier to roll out of bed and turn on my laptop. And that's one of the great benefits of working online, isn't it? No long delays away from your base. No hanging around on cold and drafty stations waiting for trains, and just think of the carbon we're saving. We did a rough calculation after our National Career Leader Conference last November, and we reckoned we'd saved in excess of 6.1 million tonnes of carbon by working online like this. So something to think about, I think, in terms of future events as well. Let me say a bit about the programme for today. We're following the online programme as you've seen it on the website and on Hopin. Please get into the networking. There's lots of it there, not just in the chat, but you can do speed networking, which is quite fun to meet new people, and also direct message people through the Hopin platform. Please take opportunity to visit the exhibition. Without our exhibitors, events like this would be much more expensive for everybody. They contribute in a big way to the sector too, in terms of developing resources, and you can attend some of their product sessions during today and tomorrow as well. But do take an opportunity to go and look at those exhibitor booths. This afternoon, we're trying something a little bit different. At the end of the formal day, we're doing some online open meetup sessions. If you'd like to set up your own meeting, that's all can be arranged. Just let us know at the help desk, which is open throughout the conference, and you can set up your own meeting and people can choose to join you. These are sort of unmoderated, unrecorded sessions, but it's an opportunity for people to meet together. Might be issues that have come up today that you'd like to discuss further. On the subject of recording, everything is recorded during the event, and we'll make sure after we've cleaned up those recordings of keynotes, panel sessions and seminars that we'll put them all on the CDI website, and we'll send out links to all delegates. So you'll get the recordings even of the seminars you didn't attend, which is a sort of extra bonus from the old-fashioned face-to-face conferences. Any questions throughout the day, please go and talk to someone at the help desk. There'll be members of the CDI there all throughout the day. Now, moving on quickly to our first plenary session, because I don't want to steal the limelight of our keynote speakers too much. Our first session today, I think, rightly focuses on career development from the government agencies' point of view and their vision for digital career development. Careers education and guidance is a public policy issue, so I think it's really right that we kick off the conference with that digital career development vision, both from the National Careers Service and the Career Service. Louise Proctor will be our first speaker, followed by the Deputy Chief Executive of the Careers and Enterprise Company, John Yarham. So that's setting the scene for this first keynote plenary. And at the very end, I'm going to steal 5 minutes because I want to make a personal award to the organisation, the first organisation in 2021 to win one of the Career Assured Quality Assurance Awards, and more about that at the very end of this session. Anyway, without more ado, I'm going to hand over to Louise Proctor, the head of Louise Proctor OBE, sorry Louise, head of the National Careers Service, who's going to focus on digital plans and developments of the National Careers Service going forward. And she's going to then introduce some of her colleagues who are going to talk about different aspects, I think. So Louise, very much welcome to you, and over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for that very warm introduction. As head of the National Careers Service, I'm delighted to be here today to introduce you to the work we are doing to design and develop our digital experience for users of the National Careers Service. As well as a few brief words from me, I'm going to hand over to other members of the team who are involved in the design and development of our digital services. They will set out how we are improving the way citizens experience and access careers content digitally, and how we are planning to meet some of the careers ambitions set out in the recent DfE white paper, Skills for Jobs. The National Careers Service plays a pivotal role in changing how young people and adults are inspired to make better and informed career choices, lift their aspirations and broaden their horizons. And we do this in part by guiding and supporting people to use a range of high quality digital tools and resources that will enable them to further develop their career management skills and progress in learning, work and life. I'm now going to take a few moments to reflect on what digital means for me in the delivery of careers advice. You will not be surprised to learn that our user research shows overwhelmingly that people want human interaction, and that varying personal circumstances mean that one size does not fit all. However, we also know that users want to access services on the go, at times to suit them, and they want careers information they can trust, presented immediately and in an accessible way. Technology enables us to meet those needs. So for that reason, we have blended how our digital and non-digital offers work together, prompting our customers to prepare for contact with professional careers advisors by using the website first. For example, we know that people who have completed our skills health check tool are more likely to be satisfied with the careers advice they subsequently receive. For those who are able to self-serve, we are personalising our service to present information tailored to their needs. And all of our community-based careers advisors introduce customers to the digital service and encourage them to continue their journey digitally, enabling them to manage their careers throughout their lives. And of course, the content on the website is used by and also developed for intermediaries, careers advisors, work coaches, teachers, so they can advise people using up-to-date careers and labour market information. Now, in preparing for today, I thought a lot about how it used to be when I was a school careers advisor, with lots of weighty tomes to refer to and carry around, handing out leaflets and writing out action plans by hand. How times have changed. Most people use the service now on mobile devices, and we design our website with that in mind. I also thought about how we would have fared in the current pandemic without customers being able to access our services digitally. Our careers advisors have pivoted to speaking to customers by phone, web chat, webinar, Zoom, as well as some limited face-to-face contact when the situation allowed. We have also seen an increase in the use of social media, whether that is to find out about a virtual job or careers fair, or to ask questions of a careers advisor online. And we have seen an increase in the number of people using the website, bolstered by the launch of the School's Skills Toolkit to provide opportunities for people to brush up their skills and learn online. And we have also enhanced the content on the website to include articles and advice about making career choices at this challenging time. And our aspiration is to inspire, motivate and support our customers at every step of their careers journey. And we know that improving our digital service is going to help us achieve that aspiration. It will enable us to extend our reach so that everyone can access careers advice to progress in learning, work and life. Do you know that already approximately 15 people visit our website each year, and we look forward to more people using our digital tools and resources. So that's just a brief few words from me. I'm now going to hand over to Anthony, who will talk about how we are designing the National Careers Service digital experience.
Morning everyone. My name is Anthony Hull and I lead delivery of the digital National Careers Service. And the first point I wanted to get across really is that this isn't a standalone service. You can think of our digital service as something that runs through the thread of the whole of the National Careers Service. So we've actually designed it so that it can be delivered in the classroom or in the home or at school. And we're trying to use it to create a truly universal service that reaches everyone. And so the digital service isn't there to replace face-to-face or telephone-based careers advice. It's there to support everyone in the process of careers advice. And actually, you could use the digital service, the website in a mediated careers session, or you could use it to encourage take-up of the National Careers Service generally, or it can be used by customers themselves. Can I get the next slide, please? So we've designed all of our features and products using a set of principles, and you can see those on the screen now. And the first one is around a big vision and small steps. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So if we move on to follow your moral compass, we're in a position to help citizens make some really important life decisions, and follow your moral compass is really about putting customers above the most convenient processes or designs from our perspective. We also want to create a seamless service that delivers high quality customer journeys on and offline, so it's as easy as possible for our customers to use. We want to make sure everything we release is accessible for users, and we follow the WCAG standard for accessibility, which is required by everyone who's got a GDS, a GDS quality assured website. We also want to make sure that the service is useful and engaging for everyone, but it's able to respond to the specific needs of customers through some of the personalization that Louise mentioned just a minute ago. We're user-centered in everything that we do, because we want to try and respond to the real needs of customers, and we manifest that using user research and user-centered design. Again, that's also a GDS requirement, but it's something that we do naturally. And we want to put users first, but also collaborate across the organisation and across the sector, so that we can try and meet strategic and policy objectives as well as the needs of customers themselves. And we're creative problem solvers, and by that I mean, we try to think critically, we try to be innovative, and we try to explore all the ways of meeting customer needs. Could I get the next slide, please, Rani? So I mentioned big vision, small steps, that principle on the previous slide. And we've had the career strategy to guide us since 2017. Since then, it's been augmented by the Skills for Jobs white paper, which came out this year. And the white paper has, 4 key elements for us, 2 of which are really prevalent to the digital service. One is about creating more alignment between National Careers Service and CEC. The second is about making the National Careers Service the single source of truth for government careers information, which is no mean feat. And from a digital perspective, will involve things like increased use of labour market information and more of that personalisation we talked about. So trying to create the most relevant experience for customers as possible. And there are also elements of the face-to-face service about strengthening the personal guidance offer and using evidence, creating an evidence base for careers outcomes, which also bleeds into what we're trying to do with the digital service. Thank you. I think I'm passing over to you, Rani.
Yeah, thank you. And so I'm Rani, I'm a business analyst in the National Career Service. So I'm just going to go through some of those features that we're building that align to this big vision, small steps. So developing our big vision through small steps is about prioritizing features based on evidence user needs. We use our research and analysis prioritization, and we deliver through continuous improvement. We add new features and we build on existing features, and we iterate based on feedback. So the first new feature to introduce personalization to the customer experience is the triage tool. So the screenshots that you're seeing on the screen right now are from an early prototype, and this design will be further iterated on before delivery to the website in the summer. The customer triage is based on the customer's goals and situation, so starting careers, changing careers, or returning to work, etc. And it directs customers to the tools and content on our website that are best suited to that goal or situation that they select. It makes automated content recommendations that are underpinned by our service taxonomy. And we'll come on to the service taxonomy a little more later in this presentation. The intention of this triage tool is to improve the customer's ability to self-serve and to get them to the content that is relevant to their need in an efficient manner. So as well as adding new features, we are continuously improving on our existing features. We're enhancing our current job profile LMI by adding further LMI measures sourced from LMI for All. So these new measures will be on each job profile and will be at job group level. They will provide customers with LMI on which sectors you'll find this occupation in, what qualifications you might need to work in this area, employment figures by region, and whether the trend for this type of occupation is going up or going down. And this is our first step towards enhancing the LMI provided on our website and is due to be released in a few months. This will be then followed by a focus on further regional information as per the Skills for Jobs white paper. So that's a couple of examples of how we're getting towards our vision. I'm just going to hand over now to Ray, who's going to talk more about how we design a seamless service. You're on mute, Ray.
Oh, classic error. Anyway, I'm Ray Plummer. I've been responsible for some work, the business sponsor for development of our seamless service around chatbots, and it's been a really exciting journey. We only began this journey in December, and we've really made good progress. So what's a chatbot? It sits between flat digital text on your screen and the web chat service, and it joins those two things up. We often refer to it, we being our team, as it's sort of careers informer as opposed to a careers advisor. So its purpose is to bring information to you in simple information in an accessible format, and it can stand in for basic information for a careers advisor. And what it does is we set it against the 5 core skills we look to our careers advisors to deliver. The number one skill we look for in careers advisors is the ability to deliver good diagnostic interviews, to have good interviewing skills. And the chatbot is interactive. It doesn't mimic what a careers advisor does, but it is interactive in that sense, so it maintains interest from the customer. The second thing we look from our careers advisors is effective harnessing and use of labour market information and intelligence. And that's where the chatbot does really well, because it draws on content from our site and from our subject matter experts about delivering good journeys for customers. Doesn't replace a careers advisor, but it makes a good fist of pulling labour market information together. The third thing, which we really expect from careers advisors, which is completely out of scope for our chatbot, is that it motivates people to action, to take their next steps. We're not crazy. We understand that's not what chatbots do, so we don't do that one. But the fourth thing we look for is the ability for careers advisors to network, to refer, to point customers to useful links, and to help them think about next steps. And to some extent, we get some success with the chatbot, remembering that one of the main next steps of the chatbot is when it runs out of what it can do, it points you to the web chat or to the telephone service, so you're never left high and dry. And the last thing we expect from careers advisors, well, not last, but the fifth thing we expect from them, is the ability to develop digital self-serve skills and career management skills, and the chatbot's very good for that. So the big win in this development for us has been that we think, looking at with the way we've mapped it out, that we could cover up to 77% of customer journeys through that chatbot route. And that doesn't replace the web chat, it doesn't replace the telephone, it doesn't replace the careers advisors. It's a good complementary tool which offers customers another way in to the service, another way to access it. What it effectively is for us, it's a 24/7 resource which helps you to navigate the knowledge on our website and the knowledge we've pulled together from our user research and from our careers advisors into a simple space. It's an editor of that information, and it's an elephant eater. It digests and reduces what we have into accessible, digestible, small chunks, rather than you need a glass of water, you get a glass of water rather than a waterfall. Journeys we've completed so far: we've done funding for a course which you can test on our website, course entry requirements, help with your CV. We've gone live with booking an appointment. So there are a number of chatbots we've got going at the moment, which is an automated way to support you in between talking to an advisor or using our web chat. It has a gaming element to it, and I don't know why that is, but that gaming element means our data is showing it's very attractive to young people. It's their go-to resource in many ways, and we'll be using this for the exam results helpline this year, which should be interesting, so that people can telephone, people can use web chat, people can use the chatbot as well. We're offering different ways into the service. The great thing about our chatbots is they're intelligent. They learn from people's feedback, what's working and what's not, and we develop and iterate as we go. And the really good thing is we can automate and move things forward very quickly. If I go to the next slide, the last slide, this is just an image really of our process. And if you're interested in the technical bits, this is how we design and deliver our chatbots. And it is about identifying the right candidate journeys, mapping those journeys and testing them with a whole range of users, testing again, automating them, refining them, bringing them to live. And the reality, because it's a very dynamic process, a lot of our work carries on post-live, getting customer feedback, seeing what works, tweaking and refining. And then once we're satisfied that it's doing what it should be doing, excuse me, we move on to the next journey. So that's just a really quick whistle-stop tour of another tool which we've added to our armour of communications with customers. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about personalisation. So personalisation as a principle, as Ant stated, it's about building an accessible service that works for everybody and then customizing that service to one that looks to meet customer needs for individual circumstances. So this means that we need to stay familiar with our customer segments, and we need to refresh our insight regularly. It's about encouraging customers to self-serve where they can, but also making it easy to speak to an advisor if they need to. And underpinning our personalization features is our service taxonomy. So the service taxonomy enables us to support customers to find the information they're looking for and for them to find it in the least amount of steps possible. This personalization capability, including that upcoming triage tool feature, will be driven from this service taxonomy, and in turn, those features will support us to further build on that taxonomy. The taxonomy is about relationships between, amongst other things, occupations, skills, qualifications, and LMI. And it's based on relationships that leverage existing standards, for example, occupation standards, so SOC codes, apprenticeship standards, and skills frameworks. And we will continually use the intelligence that we deduce from customers' interaction with our website tools and content to keep on extending and modifying this taxonomy. And it's the combination of those standards that we're leveraging and the knowledge that we are continually gaining that will underpin personalization and support the user through their personal digital journey. So we want to present information, advice and guidance through the digital service to the customer that will open doors for them and will present them with opportunities that are relevant to them. Providing customers with a personalized digital journey is about supporting them by providing content and tools that inform and guide career decisions. It's about supporting them through providing content and tools that are tailored to differing goals and situations and personal circumstances. And it's about supporting them to navigate through that content. So providing a personalized digital careers advice experience is about combining those digital content and tools, the service taxonomy, the personalization features like the triage tool, and the reality factor of LMI. And it's combining all of those together that underpins a self-service experience that leads to us presenting tailored opportunities to the customer. I'm going to hand now back to Louise. Thank you.
Louise, we can see you. I can't be able to hear you if you talk.
Okay, I just can't see anything.
Right, we can see and hear you, Louise. Can you proceed like this, or do you need to refresh your browser?
Okay, I don't know, because I don't know which slide they're on. You see, I can't see the slides. I can't hear anything.
Louise. We're on the final.
On the last summary slide, Louise.
I did leave and then come back again.
Louise, I'm happy to
I've
do
just
this
got one slide to do, but I've asked the team if they'll do that slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anthony,
It's really
do
funny,
you want me to do it?
Ray, why don't you proceed and do the final slide?
Okay, so just in summary, what we try to capture here is the different ways in which we're contacting and working with customers and using technology to progress that journey. So we've moved from the standard printed publications, which was the main source of labour market information and careers for most careers advisors, into digital content, and that's progressed over the years. And digital content has the great strength that it's all there and it's accessible, but it still is primarily one way. We've progressed that now and expanded and extended the quality of our web chat, and it's now local web chat rather than national web chat. So that's quite a shift. Instead of one centre doing it, where you live, you're talking to advisors who live where you do, who can help you. And then we've progressed that just before Christmas in December to include chatbot as well. And what the chatbot does, it offers a different dimension to how we work, and it sits between that space of web chat and talking to the advisor and using the website. And what we're in the process, which Rani and the others have taken you through, is enhancing our LMI capability and moving to greater and greater personalization in our products so that it's much more tailored to the customer's needs. What we've got underpinning that personalization process is a detailed service taxonomy, which draws on different systems and processes of LMI, you know, so that we're in a space where we're moving towards basing all of our developments on a strong base of evidence, national occupation standards, etc. So that just captures the basic journey we've traveled through over the last few years. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's any questions. Is there a question slide?
I think we've got some in the chat there, and I'm happy to take a couple. Or Jan, did you want to?
All right. Yes, I'll field a couple of those questions quickly before John is invited to speak. So the first question I saw was about FE courses, and someone having difficulty finding FE courses through the National Career Service. Now, that might not be the right place to look for FE courses, but do you have a view on that, Anthony?
Yeah, certainly. So just for a bit of context, we've got a back-end system called Course Directory, which powers something called Find a Course, and I think that's the feature that Andrew's referring to. Course directories are designed to allow FE providers to upload information about themselves and their courses. And since we've launched it, we've been trying to continuously improve the feature, both so it's easier for providers to use and upload their information, but also so it delivers an increasingly good experience for customers. I think Andrew's absolutely right. It's not perfect. We're continuously testing and iterating it. And there are two main sort of tranches of work. One is about making technical changes to the website, so we improve the search functionality. The other is about working with providers to improve the quality of information they put into Course Directory. So I suppose that the simple answer there is, absolutely we recognise that there are improvements needed, and we're working with providers to sort of make them over time.
Thank you, Anthony. Another question was around gaming. I think sometimes it sets out alarm bells in people's minds. I wonder if you can say a bit more about what element of gaming has been integrated into the chatbot.
That's a good one for you to answer.
Yeah, so let's be clear what I mean by gaming. I don't mean it's Fortnite. What I mean is I'm using it in the broadest sense, in that it's an interactive process with options and different routes, and that the customer has a two-way play with the system and with the advisor. It's not gaming in the traditional sense. So I might have been too loose with my terms there. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Ray. Good to put that right. And just one final question in this segment, a plea from Kevin, and I've heard this one before. I don't know who's going to take it. It's about CV Builder. There used to be a great tool on the National Career Service website, the CV Builder tool, and I've seen a couple of people asking, can it be reinstated, or have you got something like Son of CV Builder tool planned?
Well, I don't know if anyone else on our panel's got any comment on this. Yeah, a really popular tool. The truth is we've got a lot of innovation in our backlog, but I think it is one of the things we are looking at. I don't think we've got a timeline on that just yet, but it's been recognised internally that was a really powerful thing, and it's likely to be something customers are going to require going forward as well.
So does that mean it's coming out again?
Ray, sorry, what were you going to say, Ray?
I was just going to say that one of the facilities we've built with our chatbot is CV help as well. So people can upload their CVs or applications and get direct support with that as well. But it's not the same as the separate CV builder. Sorry, Jan, I cut in then.
No, not at all. So is a CV Builder plan something that's easy for people to use and download?
It's not in plan, no, but it's certainly something that's being talked about.
Okay. One final question, this is one from me actually, not from the list, but you talked about an innovation backlog. Is there any way you can keep us all updated so we know what's coming, so we're not constantly nagging you as to things we'd like to see?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I think we've got a few mechanisms in place where we engage with the sector, but I don't think there's any reason why we can't put something more formalised in place. Maybe an update just to let you know about some of the interesting things we've got coming out and got planned.
Certainly, CDI would be very happy to publish that, say in our quarterly magazine or something, which people greatest access to information. Can I say thank you very much? You did an excellent job there. The National Career Service Roadshow came back to life again. Thank you so much, Louise, Ray, Rani and Anthony, for introducing us to some of the developments that are taking place and the sort of philosophy and theory behind how that's starting to happen. And please do keep us updated. And I'll keep an eye out in the chat to see if there's any more questions we might have time for at the end. But thank you from the National Career Service. Moving on now, I'd like to introduce to you John Yaram. John, I've known for many years now. He, by background, he has been a careers advisor, so he understands a lot of the questions and the thoughts behind, I'm sure, some of the things that are coming up today. And most latterly, he has been working as Deputy Chief Executive of the Careers and Enterprise Company, which has a focus on young people. So, John, lovely to have you present this morning. Welcome to TechFest, and over to you.
Thank you, Jan, and congratulations on such a brilliant event already. I can just sense from the numbers that have joined and the program that you've put on. It's incredibly relevant to where we are at the moment. Thank you for that introduction. So I don't need to introduce myself any further, but other than say that my focus today is on digital provision for young people through schools and colleges, and that's in keeping with the CEC's role as the national body in England to support schools and colleges to deliver outstanding careers education through all 8 of the Gatsby benchmarks. And I'd like to talk about 3 things this morning. So firstly, the broader context in which digital developments are taking place for young people and schools and colleges. And that sort of builds on your comments, Jan, around the implications of the pandemic. The second then is to go into a bit more detail about the CEC's current offer within that and our thoughts on that. And then finally, just to have a brief look ahead, which I think will lead into the rest of the day and also tomorrow, in terms of what further developments do we think are likely to take place for young people, schools and colleges in relation to digital development for careers education. So that's what I'm aiming to cover. Looking forward to some lively Q&A at the end of all of this, I'm sure. But if I start off with the broader context, I mean, I think various terms have been bandied about over the last few months. Catch up. We have a catch up czar now in place, and it's Sir Kevin Collins. Recovery, renewal, all terms that are used to describe the situation that young people face. And I speak as as Jan said, as a former careers advisor, but also somebody that ran an organisation that delivered the National Career Service. So it's brilliant to hear about all of the developments that the NCS are developing, but also as a governor of a secondary school, and as a parent of 2 daughters going through secondary school, one of whom is in year 10 and would have ordinarily had her work experience and placements this year, but also with an experience of directly linking with a large number of head teachers and careers leaders across the country over the last few months. And all of that information, I suppose, that I've been assimilating and working with does give me a really clear sense of how difficult this time has been for schools, for colleges, and for most importantly for young people. There's been a lost period, and the fact that that's lack of exams, which in some cases is seen as a positive development, but exams do provide a sense of orientation for young people, and that also is something that has been missing. The impact, we know, hasn't just been academic. It's been far more than that. It's the social, the emotional, and particularly from my perspective, the careers related developments and learning that needs to take place, that we must work hard to address. I want to say thank you to schools and colleges who've done an amazing job to keep provision going. we know that careers leaders have been some of the busiest people within those schools and colleges. And it struck me a few months ago talking to a chief exec of a multi-academy trust who told me that their careers leader had grown arms, legs and wings. It was his description. He said that they've been the busiest person in our organisation. They've been at the forefront of leading some of the renewal activity. But we know across the country, careers leaders are already stretched, already time poor in many cases. And so these extra responsibilities, additional requirements have been a huge burden, and that's it's to their credit that the activity is continued at pace. Digital development has been at the heart of that. It's enabled it. Platforms from across government, such as the National Careers Service that we've just heard about, but also from the third sector and commercial providers, have enabled young people to benefit from experiences that they would have otherwise missed. And as an example of that, we had 120,000 young people and parents that took part in what we called My Week of Work last summer, which was meant to be a national attempt to rectify the lack of work experience that young people were facing at that point. So it gives you a sense of that huge demand that has been built up across the country for this type of provision. What we've seen at the CC is our job is to make it as easy as possible for careers leaders still to deliver. As I said earlier, we know about the time pressures on them, so it's imperative for us as an organisation to make it as efficient and as effective as possible for careers leaders to undertake that work. Despite all of that great work, we know that there's a gap. We're not quite as sure as prior to lockdown that all young people have gained access to those encounters, to that guidance experience, to the range of measures that are outlined through the Gatsby benchmarks. And we're talking there about a situation that applies across education as a whole. So it's hardly a surprise that that also relates to careers education. But if we're not shouting about it, then nobody else will be. And so it's in all of our interests to make that case. We know that disadvantaged young people are most at risk through this for a variety of reasons, whether it's digital access, or being disaffected from learning throughout the process. But then you layer on top of all of those challenges of delivery the impact on the labour market as a whole, and it becomes even more imperative that we act. Young people are disproportionately impacted by this pandemic, but also we know from history, from all recessions. So I look back to the most previous recession, 2008-9, we still had a disproportionate impact on young people's employment until midway through the following decade. And then the jobs that young people often enter, sometimes as part-time work to build up their employability skills, retail, hospitality, those sectors have faced the biggest impact through the pandemic. So again, I sort of repeat, it's imperative that the young people need more support. And my view is that digital delivery will continue to be a big part of that support and a growing area of support for them. The pandemic has provided a shift to lots of aspects of life. So questions, about will we return to offices in the way that we did previously? Will we use cash again? I can't remember the last time I took cash out. Will we travel to conferences like this again? The reality with all of those questions, I think, is that there's likely to be a balance. Offices will reopen, but will we go back full time? Conferences will still take place, but maybe not all will, all of the time, and events like this. But what we've seen over the last year is that other sectors have transformed digitally quite significantly, and retail is an obvious example, but other public services too. The pandemic has forced healthcare as quite a relevant sector for us to look at, to scale up its digital offer, but it's also driven user behaviour too, and My GP being an obvious example of that. So the level of comfort that users have got in working with digital has generally increased, And I would also argue that the level of demand has increased as well. And I think it's imperative on us to respond to that. Education has been traditionally slower in digital adoption than some other sectors. But I think there will be a balance within education that will grow and develop as a result of this too. And I suspect that some of the benefits that have been gained through digital development in lockdown will now persist, will continue, and they will accelerate. And I relate that specifically to careers education and guidance. There have been many advantages from digital delivery of careers education and guidance that have emerged. And the main one for me has been the opening up of opportunities. So I'm thinking particularly of young people with special educational needs and disabilities that have gained access to activities remotely that they wouldn't have previously. And again, building on the feedback that I've received directly from heads of special schools, talking about the level of comfort and ability of their students to engage in ways that they hadn't previously. I also draw my own experience of working in an affluent part of the country in my early part of my career, where the idea of undertaking work experience in London was the norm within the school that I worked in, and even though it wasn't based in London, and that having worked then in more disadvantaged parts of the country was very much not the case. It was based on those kind of ideas of social capital and links and family links and access. Digital delivery has made that accessibility for all far more open and realistic. Work experience opportunities are not just limited to the local area in a digital environment. And I'm thinking particularly here of a quite significant employer that undertakes a wide range of work experience called Jacobs, based in Teesside, who had a young person from East Anglia joining them for their work experience program last summer that they would never have attracted. Again, there's only one individual case here that I'm talking about, very anecdotal, but I think it gives an insight into a broader perspective that we must capitalise on. The experience that young people have gained from lockdown learning will also apply in far more than just their academic performance or just a very limited careers education programme. If you think about the future of work, interviews already were being held by conference call or by video virtually, but they're likely to be held even more virtually in the future. In a blended office/home working environment, young people will need to come into work with the mindset of being able to work remotely. And I think the experience that careers education and broader digital learning will offer will enable them to prepare for that in ways that haven't been the case previously. I think we also need to reflect that employers need to adapt and support this so that their new entrants enter the workforce is still being supported and inducted in ways that are appropriate. And there are quite a few challenges, I think, still to be overcome with that. We also know that the pandemic has accelerated the range and volume of digital careers. And we had a report from the Learning and Work Institute only last week highlighting the potential shortfall in young people's digital skills. So again, far more to work on and build on. But overall, what I'm trying to present a picture of here is careers education needing to take place digitally in the future, in order to respond to and adapt to these situations, but not just digitally. This is about striking the right balance. Just as NCS colleagues were talking about the balance between their offer, I think this is about the balance with it for young people as well. The spectrum that extends from a purely robotic approach on one extreme to a purely face-to-face model on the other is huge and very diverse. My central argument today is we need to find the right balance to build in the best aspects from digital, to retain those and to work with them, but also to link that into structured programs that include face-to-face, that include a high element of support and direct work as well. In terms of what we've learned in being able to accomplish that, I think when I'm focusing on young people, we know that interactivity is critical. That level of personalisation is absolutely at the heart of what needs to be built into the best digital programmes. We also know that schools and colleges are critical as mediators, as supporters to those young people, to make sense of what they are engaging with digitally, and particularly to engage the most disadvantaged young people as well. And that also applies for careers advisors working with young people in terms of the guidance offer, where digital is also applicable. The introductory activity that may be instigated through digital needs to be integrated and followed up by personal guidance and ongoing support. Overall, what I'm saying is mixed approaches work. Engagement is key, but that needs to be part of a connected programme of activity. And again, in terms of the Careers and Enterprise Company, that structure is provided through the Gatsby benchmarks. So that all 8 benchmarks being critical gives a sense of that integration of activity that I think needs to be accomplished. So having given that sort of broader context, I just want to outline the products that we've developed as a means of acting on that. And I've spoken about the imperative to act. This is what we are doing. But I also want to introduce that by acknowledging that the Careers and Enterprise Company's mission is to create the system with a range of providers. Our tools are designed to provide the backbone for careers leaders to use and a consistent pathway for them through the development of careers education. But I want to talk later about how that integrates with a range of other organisations and providers. So I want to talk briefly about 3 products. The first is Compass Plus, which is our tool that helps schools benchmark, manage, track and report on their careers programmes. Compass Plus is available free of charge for all secondary schools, special schools, sixth forms and PRUs in England. And we currently have nearly 1,700 schools now using it. It undertakes a number of functions for careers leaders. I'll just quickly outline. So firstly, I spoke earlier about the time pressures on careers leaders. It's intended to save time. It's one storage place for evaluations and activity plans. It has short and intuitive forms to evaluate and map out careers programmes within schools. It measures and monitors. It provides visualizations to show progress against Gatsby benchmarks, how a school compares to national and regional averages, what's planned and what's completed for each year group. It's designed to be enable the careers leader to be more strategic by connecting to a school's management information system at a pupil or student level, so that you can see individual student groups for careers activities, build custom groups for those activities and save them for future use, assessing the impact of planned and completed activities against those benchmarks. It enables collaboration because you can share information across the school. So the careers leader can give administration rights to other users, and that really builds on the idea of careers within the curriculum, which is a key benchmark within the Gatsby framework. And it also enables careers leaders to find providers by providing an intelligent provider recommendations. It's called a Finder Activity Provider tool that builds on a careers partners database within the Compass Plus tool, so that careers leaders can see where they have gaps in their provision and which providers can offer support to fill those gaps. It uses student data by connecting to the management information system that is being used by the school to track those students' careers education. It reduces the need to keep multiple spreadsheets up to date, and it allows careers leaders to use their time more effectively. It enables tracking of careers interests, of intended destinations, of actual destinations for 3 years after the student leaves the school, and it provides aggregate visualizations of intended destinations for all the year groups in Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5. And it finally also provides a downloadable report for all of their careers information, so that the student can use that information to inform personal statements, CV writing and cover letters. So it's a central plank of our support for careers leaders within schools. The second product is called Future Skills Questionnaire, And this has been a standalone face-to-face delivered activity to date, but it will be over the next 6 months integrated within Compass Plus. And Future Skills Questionnaire is a set of student self-completion questionnaires targeted at transition points within secondary at the start of Year 7, Year 9, Year 11 and Year 13. There are specific questions for special educational needs and disabilities to be completed as part of career conversations. And those questions cover career knowledge and skills, essential skills. So it covers a range of things such as the learning about careers, the understanding of employer needs, awareness of post-16 and 18 options. It provides student insight at a point in time, capturing the extent to which they understand and can do each of those different activities. And the purpose being to enable a data-driven careers education programme with a focus on those student needs and progress. It's been developed based heavily on the Student Career Readiness Index, which was developed by the University of Derby, and it was used in the North East Gatsby pilot that's recently been evaluated. It's been also based heavily on career learning outcomes frameworks, and it's been developed in consultation with careers leaders, sector experts, and question designed experts as well. It's been piloted now with 20 careers leaders and 3,500 students in the autumn of last year. And it's cognitively tested with 40 students across different target groups. We'll be publishing a report in mid-April, which sets out the process that we've undertaken for this. But it will now work through careers leaders being able to send it out through Compass Plus within their institution. The data returned will be part of the student profile, as well as being aggregated for cohorts and groups. The questions are tailored to key stage so that the aggregated results will show proportions answering positively and negatively to questions. And at an individual level, the emphasis is on the areas where students feel least confident to prompt targeted support for them. We'll be piloting that digital tool from April with the intention to launch it across the whole country in September. Then finally, I want to touch on what we call our resources directory, which is a searchable platform detailing resources for careers leaders in both schools and colleges. This has been hugely popular during lockdown since its launch in September. Again, building on this notion of careers leaders being the busiest people in their institutions. We've got hundreds of providers and initiatives contained on the resources directory, and our role has been to promote those and support the access to them through the directory. And these resources are a mixture of digital but also face-to-face work. The taxonomy for this resources directory, so the means for a careers leader to be able to search is through benchmark, so it's by audience type, by the type of resource, whether there's a cost involved, whether it's for special educational needs and disabilities or not, and also it relates to the various campaigns that we undertake at the CEC as well. So 3 products I've sort of gone through relatively quickly. Apologies that it's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour for you, but in summary, all of them are designed with careers leaders in schools and also for the resource directory in colleges as well at heart. And that's in keeping with the role of the Careers and Enterprise Company to support schools and colleges. We are an institution-focused organisation in that respect. We recognise the time pressures for them, and these tools are designed to mitigate those time pressures as much as possible. We see the balance between face-to-face and digital as key, and we see these products as part of that overall Gatsby experience. So very finally then, what's next for us? At a practical level, the continued rollout of Compass Plus to secondary schools, the launch of the Future Skills Questionnaire within this from September, the further development of Compass Plus over the next few months as well, the integration of the resources directory with what we also have as a provider directory, enhancing that support offer to schools and colleges about how to find their provision really quickly, easily, and the best quality. And also we want to explore Compass Plus for FE. We recognise that FE is different in its nature. We want to build on the Compass tool that is already in existence for further education by further developments there. But then at a broader level, we want to look at how the data that's collected from Compass Plus and Future Skills Questionnaire can be aggregated and shared more broadly across the sector to identify gaps and develop and help the system grow and work to improve rather than just ourselves. I think the journey of Compass as a tool gives an insight into that. The publication of benchmark data over the last few years has given rise to a range of innovation and development across the broad sector, third sector organisations, commercial organisations, schools and colleges themselves, all growing their delivery. And we'll further develop that through our careers hubs, where we're launching a range of incubation projects during the course of this summer to see innovation grow and develop. Hub leads are system leaders for careers education, and we want to support them in terms of the digitally focused aspects of that system leadership as well. We want to build partnerships with different platforms, and I've already got a growing sense of arrangements in place with a range of those different organisations. We want to see that grow and further develop so that the interests of young people are further met. System change in careers will need to involve digital as part of that. There's an overriding theme of new frontiers being forged here, driven by technology, but also the needs of young people, schools, colleges and employers, and we want to play our part in making that reality. Thank you. You're on mute, Jan.
This morning. Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Really detailed presentation for us there. I was watching the chat and a couple of very quick questions that I think you'll be able to answer easily. Can you just say again about Compass and FE colleges? I presume they don't use the current version of Compass Plus, but you've got something in development, I think. And also around the Future Skills Questionnaire, is that for FE as well? If you could comment on those points, that would be great.
Yeah, so Compass Plus, so FE colleges currently have access and use in significant numbers what we call our Compass tool, which enables them to plot their progress against the Gatsby benchmarks. They also have access to the provider database and the resources directory. Compass Plus is slightly different in that it links with their individual student level data, and that's the bit that we want to do some further discovery work with colleges over the next year to understand how we want to develop a system for them that meets their needs. So that's Compass Plus for colleges. In terms of Future Skills Questionnaire, it is used in colleges, but that's in the hard copy version at the moment, and because it's going to be integrated within Compass Plus, that's why I'm saying at the moment the digital version will be for schools. We will look to integrate it within the future arrangements for colleges as well, because clearly it's an important development.
So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's coming. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Very quickly, last question from me. You mentioned incubation hubs, which is a new idea. Can you give us some examples of what you think they might be doing?
Yeah, so careers hubs have been developing over the last 3 years, and will the white paper really has given them the green light to expand across the whole country, so all schools and colleges, secondary schools and colleges being part of a careers hub over the next 3 years. And we want to ensure that those careers hubs are, as I said earlier, sort of system changes at the heart of innovation. We want to give them the resources and the tools to be able to innovate. So we are inviting existing careers hubs to put forward proposals over the next few months to start to develop innovative proposals to test and develop new models really from September. And this is so I think it's too early to say exactly what. I mean, we've got, but I would expect digital delivery to be at the heart of that, Jan.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And one very last question for me, which I don't think I'll have a quick answer. I'd really like to know what the Careers and Enterprise Company, working with the CDI, working with the DFE, can do to ensure that every young person going through transition from school into college, higher education, whatever, at the end of the summer has the opportunity to have a personal guidance interview before they leave school. And I'd really like the support of the Careers and Enterprise Company to work with all the other organisations to lobby to ensure young people have access and actually get a career guidance guarantee, which for the young person actually tells them what they can expect to get from both school type careers education and guidance and what they receive after school in terms of, you know, college and beyond. So certainly the CDI is lobbying for that idea of establishing a guarantee for young people. Everything seems to be done to them and for them, but what is it really that they can expect to get out of the system? Yeah. And it's something I'll be coming back and talking with you about and the CEC in more detail. But food for thought. Thank you very much for your input this morning. Thank you. And thank you very much. I've noticed that Louise and her team have been answering lots of the questions in the chat that were targeted at sort of National Career Service type questions. So thank you very much for that. At the very end of this session, I've squeezed in here 5 minutes to do a special presentation, and thank you. Mac Morrisby has joined us here. I'll just give you a little bit of background as to what this presentation is about. For a number of years now, the CDI has been concerned that there's a huge amount of information available to young people and adults through the internet, but it's very difficult to identify what is good, high quality, and well presented, current, unbiased, accurate, impartial, all those words career development practitioners love. Where can you go to get the very highest quality information? And so the CDI has developed a standard. It's called Career Assured. Any organisation focusing mostly on digital to start with, offering an app or a computer program or a website or a particular piece of assessment online can go forward to receive the equivalent of a kite mark. I know I'm not meant to use the word kite mark these days, but it's the equivalent of a kite mark from the career development profession awarded to show that a program or a piece of software or website has been through a really rigorous process and that it is absolutely high quality to get that award. And I'm delighted to be able to present to the Morrisby organisation here, Mac, today, who is the first organisation in 2021 to be awarded the Career Assured status. So, Mac, I don't know if you'd like to say a few words. Congratulations from the CDI. You've got the logo. I know you'll be using it and talking up the award, but please do tell us a little bit about the process and what it means to you to get it.
Thank you very much indeed, Jan. Yeah, it is a real honour to receive the award, and I really thank the CDI for developing the initiative, literally setting the standards for careers-related resources and services in the country, maybe around the world. And I have to say that the process with its 8 criteria is incredibly tough. You're looking at all those little nooks and crannies that we maybe as a developer might think, we'll gloss over that. But with this new standard, we've got to actually really focus on all the details, and it's inevitably going to lead to much better careers resources, particularly digital ones. And really, if it was applied across the web, I think we'd have a much nicer internet to play with. I got to say, Joanne initially from the CDI made it so easy to understand all the ins and outs of the process, and we couldn't have done it without Michelle Squire's expert help all the way through. She was our assessor, and she guided us and gave us amazing support. Really, I have to thank Catherine Skinner and Alan Teese at Morrisby, who did all the heavy lifting for the submission, which was great. And but most importantly, I'm really proud of the team at Morrisby and what they've managed to achieve with the new careers platform. Alan did a brilliant job in the design, and we're lucky enough to have an amazing team of developers and careers and data and support teams, and they were all able to bring this vision to life, and it's amazing that we've managed to achieve the Career Assured Award. It's a fantastic achievement by the team. So thank you very much indeed, Jan. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to everybody at Moresby. And if you'd like to know a bit more about what the Moresby organisation has been developing, they are one of our provider insight talks at 11:40 this morning, and they'll be showing you a little bit about what they've been doing. So thank you very much, Malcolm, and congratulations. Thank you to everybody who's taken part in this first plenary session. I'm going to sign off now, and we're going to have a short break. There's a 15-minute break before we go into seminars. You don't have to choose a seminar in advance. You just click on the one, go straight into the room where you'd like to be, or go and attend one of the industry insight talks, and they're all listed on the website and in the programme. So this morning we've got Fledgling, Career Pilot, Moresby, and our major sponsor, Launch Your Career, who are presenting this morning. So please do take the opportunity to view those and our seminars. But remember, if you miss a seminar, it's not the end of the world because it's all recorded. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a coffee. I've also got one of these automatic watches that tells me I ought to wave my arms around and get up and move around. So we'll stop this session here, and we'll welcome you to the webinars after, welcome you to the seminars and insight talks after a short break. Thank you, everybody.